I am DYANAROZAY, and I bring a unique commentary to your favorite reality TV shows and whatever is popping on social media. If you are not a subscriber, please become one. Hit that notification bell too, that way you don't miss any of my videos. I go by DYANAROZAY on all platforms, and I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. What's up, Supreme Team? Welcome to the channel, child. More things is going down, okay? Come on in, everyone. This is your girl, DYANAROZAY. We are here to talk about the latest update on the P. Diddy trial, and it has to do with Cassie Ventura. The prime witness, the number one witness, has chimed in on Diddy's bail. And I'm going to tell you guys the latest. What is up, Sassy Me from DC? I am assuming you can hear me. Thank you so much. If you can hear the sound of my voice, please let me know. Drop your city, your state, your country, your island, wherever you are from, your continent, into the chat. And I will give you a hello. What's up, Lady D Keys? Anyone that you see with a purple wrench behind their name, they're volunteering their time to make sure y'all have a good time. What's up, Dorothy? I appreciate you. Child, I thought that Cassie would be, somewhere else, any place else, but baby, she is here. What is up, Less of Me? Nice to have you from San Diego, San Francisco. What's up, Cincinnati? Child, Seattle, Los Angeles. Child, I'm floored. I'm floored, but I'm about to tell you guys what's going on. Hey, New York City. You are there in the mix, okay? So listen, Cassie Ventura has chimed in. Everybody is waiting with bated breath on whether or not P. Diddy will get to leave the jail cell, the prison cell that he has been held in since 2023. I think I read that earlier today. And yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of people that is pissed off, angry, mad, protesting. How dare this happen? And then there is a lot of people that is in front of the courthouse right now spraying each other with baby oil. They have taken their shirts off. I guess this is their way to show that that's not a problem. I don't know. Y'all know people get ignorant sometimes with these kind of things, and it can be very insensitive to people, right? Look, Dorothy said Cassie got a lot of nerve. Cassie has chimed in. This case started because of Cassie. She filed a civil lawsuit. The legal department got involved with all of the things that was being accused there. She got $30 million, more than her other victims. You are right. She did do that. It was blessed to have children. Oh, she was blessed to have children, and she's still talking. She's still talking and participating in the freak offs. So listen, if you watch my last live, I said that people are split. Women are split. Men are split about this verdict. There are some people that feel very strongly Cassie could have walked away, but she stayed, and people are saying that they feel it was a money grab. There are others who said, listen, there's a lot more to it than that. You are, you have an emotional connection. You might have, a lot of Stockholm syndromes and things like that. What's up, New Orleans? Come on through. What's up, Erica? Nice to have you. But she is checking him from Arlington, Texas. So let's talk about it. Baby oil. I kid you not. There is tons of men and women, men with their shirt off. They are spraying each other with baby oil in celebration of Diddy getting the lesser charge. There's a couple of things that I found out about this charge, though. Cassie, I'm gonna need you to enjoy your life with that $30 million. You have did your part as a witness. You have done your part as a victim. She was a victim, so she was a part of it. And yes, we should not feel, bad. Victims deserve to be paid. People go through a lot emotionally, psychologically. People need to recover some kind of way. You got to be made whole some kind of way, right? Thank you, Lady D Keys. I appreciate that. You can have whatever opinion you'd like. We all should have different opinions. That's okay. We learn from each other when we have different opinions. Just keep it respectful. All right. Dorothy is one who feels very strongly against Cassie. She said that she lied in her lawsuit. She cheated on her husband. She allowed her mother and the government to say that Diddy bribed her mama. She knows Diddy never spoke with her mom. That was Cassie asking her mom for the money. Okay. Okay. Oh, wow. There's a lot more of y'all in here than I thought that is very much against Cassie. We're going to hear what she has to say in just a second. He is dangerous. Holly is very much on Cassie's side, it sounds like. Why don't people understand that? Thumbs down to the jury. Okay. So listen, Cassie has chimed in. Y'all know that the judge asked both the prosecution and the defense to give him information that he could use to make a decision about whether or not Diddy gets to walk. He has been found innocent. Well, I shouldn't even say innocent. He has been found not guilty, not innocent, not guilty. So I take that back because I know a lot of people is probably upset about that comment, which I totally understand. And put this up here real quick. He was found not guilty on racketeering. The RICO charge which is a charge that would have put him in jail for the rest of his life. It would have also pulled all of his assets, financial, money, bank accounts, everything, homes that he may have bought. It would have pulled everything from him. He was found not guilty on that. And that was also the charge, the count that the jury was saying they were at an impasse on. They said, listen, we're not going to agree. And the judge said, bullshit. Okay. Y'all go right on back into that delivery room and y'all figure this out. It's too early. But they ended up talking to each other a little more and they came back with a not guilty. Here's the problem, if there is one. It's a not guilty on racketeering, not guilty on trafficking. It's a guilty on transportation. And this is where things get a little confusing and probably why the prosecutors were so upset, because how can he be not guilty on the trafficking, but guilty on transportation? In order to be guilty on transportation, you have to have been guilty on the trafficking too. So look, Fashawn said that he's still in hot water regarding prostitution. And this is the part we're trying to see whether or not the judge is going to give him a stiff sentence on. There's a lot of people who are saying this is a first-time offense. And they're saying, listen, even though he has done some other things, he should not go to jail for years on. Okay. Now, if this was, let's see. Cassie knows how dangerous Diddy is. This is why she needs Diddy to stay behind bars. There are a lot of people who were victims or are victims that testified. And currently they are saying that they are fearful and that they hope that the judge sends him to jail. So having Cassie, like I said, the number one witness, chime in on this is a big deal for sure. I just don't understand people's negative comments towards Cassie. It's not about no 30 million. The man is dangerous, but y'all go off. Okay, so let's look at what Cassie had to say real quick, y'all. Without further ado, child, here we go. This is the letter that was submitted by Cassie's lawyer on her behalf. And it says, Dear Judge Submarinian, we write as counsel for Cassie Ventura, aka Miss Ventura, to respectfully request that the court deny Mr. Combs to be released pending his sentencing on his 2 convictions under the penal code. Pursuant to bail reform and then another penal code, detention is mandatory post-conviction on these charges. And Ms. Ventura believes that Mr. Combs is likely to pose a danger to the victims who testified in this case, including herself, as well as to the community. We thank the court for your time on this matter. So right now, Cassie, who did have a very big impact on a lot of things, But check it out. The jury said he's not guilty for the things that he did against Cassie. What they're accusing him of, they said he's not guilty. This is hard because if the judge is going to do his job, y'all, then he has to take this into consideration, that she was not considered, believable by a jury for the most part. And I won't even say that. I will say that the prosecution failed to present a case that said he was guilty of trafficking. Okay. So people can say all day, listen, that man did what he did. We know he did it. He said he did it. He just said it wasn't what the prosecution is making it out to be. And the jury believed him. There are some crazy super fans of Diddy. I would be afraid too. You can tell by the comments who's abusive and who's misogynistic. Child. But this is what's going on right now. Cassie has chimed in. She said that she is afraid. And she told the judge that not only is she afraid, but other victims of his are afraid as well. So we have to see what the judge comes back with. He said that he was expected to come back into court with the decision on whether or not Diddy goes home by 5 p.m. Eastern. A lot of people may have seen some of the photos that came out of the court, like this one right here, where Diddy is kneeling on the floor with his head in the chair that he sat on. Very grateful that the jury went with the lesser charges, not with the one that would have put him in prison for life. And he asked for permission to speak to his family and said, I'm coming home. I'm coming home after that. Okay. So he honestly expected to walk out of the courtroom right then and there. His lawyers stood up and argued that, like, his life has been on the line this entire time. He's ready to go. And the judge said, I understand that you guys are eager to get to the next part of this, but we can't. We have to, do our due diligence. The feds definitely dropped the ball, which is shocking because they usually have a 95% conviction rate. Yep. A lot of people are saying that. The main thing here is, you guys need to know, is everybody who is, been watching this case, a lot of the legal eagles, lawyers, law enforcement, they have all been saying that the prosecution failed to prove that it was actual trafficking. That maybe if they would have left it at a state level instead of at the Fed level, where they had to bring it in as racketeering and all that stuff, they would have had a better shot. They had a chance to put him away, and they did not. Everyone has their right to a fair trial. His trial was fair his trial was as fair as it could get. He didn't even call any witnesses. And I'm going to say this. Some people may say it wasn't fair because it got played out in the court of public opinion long before he even went to trial. There was at least 3 or 4 documentaries already out there. I think TMZ had 2. One was on Hulu. There was a lot that played out prior to it even getting to the court. So you have to make sure that you get a jury who is going to say they can, be impartial and not convict based on what they heard in the public. So there might be a lot of people who said he didn't get a fair trial. So when you say as fair as it could get, a lot of people think the same way you do, for sure. Their conviction rate is usually based on a plea deal. This case was more about emotions than facts. Okay. This is what Stephen Kennedy. Cassie gone. Oh, wait. Sorry about that. Cassie gone on. Go on. Ain't nobody thinking about her. Diddy is not thinking about her. She needs to go on. She got her 30 million. She wasn't afraid of him when she was cheating. Okay. So yeah, a lot of people. So there was there was one on Netflix too. Netflix, Hulu, TMZ had one that was playing on a whole lot of different platforms, including, I think, YouTube was playing it for free. So there was a lot going on, because I remember asking y'all a few times, is this considered, is this actually good for him to have all this information that's damning and out there ahead of the trial. So for that to be the case and those jurors to still come back with a not guilty on the most severe of charges, and then guilty on a charge that I would think you had to have some proof about, says, I mean, you would have to have trafficking involved. Let's see. Marnice said, money can get everything except God. God saved you because you didn't have money to get to speak. You still have nightmares. I am sorry, Marnice. I really am. I know that you were in the last live and you said that you were in therapy. And I am happy for you that you are getting therapy. And I hope that you live the best life you can and that you can put some of those bad memories and feelings away, because I know that it does affect you. And I'm sorry about that. Not a fan of the dealer, but the charges were wrong. Diddy has a lifetime of public humiliation. He's getting his karma. Yeah, he's not going to get from under this very quickly. They really tried to drag him. They put his entire bedroom history, his entire bedroom life on trial. We know way more about that man and what he likes than we should, right? So that's going to follow him wherever he goes. He is going to wear a scarlet letter on his chest for the rest of his days. When he dies, it will also be talked about. People will barely remember the other things that he did in his life. And we cannot deny that what he is being accused of is going to follow his children and his grandchildren. That is how big this trial was. So he has a lot. He has a lot that's on his back. Okay. I mean, at the same time, freedom is freedom, child. I'd rather do that outside than inside. But he has some shit he needs to take care of too. He needs to go to therapy as well. And repent. But I wanted to show you guys this too. Okay, so check this out. Let me make sure I have it on my screen. So this was an interesting read. That's what I was saying to you guys earlier about what you have to actually have in order to be found guilty of transportation. So they said, I will now explain the three and 5 counts you must consider to render a verdict in each count separately. The elements of transportation to engage in prostitution are: you have to prove that the defendant was guilty of transporting the individual for the purpose of. The government must prove each of the following elements beyond a reasonable doubt. Number 1, that the defendant knowingly transported an individual in interstate or foreign commerce. And number 2, that the defendant intended that the individual would engage in the act. So I'm still questioning how the judge is going to move forward. It says it is not necessary for the government to prove that he was engaging in the act. The sole purpose of transporting a person across state lines or foreign border, excuse me. A person may have several different purposes or motives for transporting a person across state lines or international lines. Each may prompt in varying degrees of the person's actions. So it's almost like this is still up for debate. They said the practice of engaging in actual activity for money or its equivalent. So we have to see what they're going to do about this if he was found innocent, not guilty in the other parts. Now let's see. The bedroom activities didn't belong in court. Those men saved him. Woo. The prosecution did a terrible job based on the charges. It's not a crime to be a freak, a waste of a witness. Cassie's mom's testimony to me was the most compelling out of everyone. Something was already done to that lady in the club when she said, oh, you guys are talking about the other things. Okay. Playing the videos. Oh, yeah, they did play the videos, right? So they really were trying to bring it home. Leon is saying that playing the videos backfired on the prosecution. It's their fault. Diddy made narcotic-fueled mistakes, just like Chris Brown did when he attacked Riri. And now women are paying $1,000 to Chris Brown for a picture. You ain't lying about that. That part is true. I have to say, I'm always shocked how those tables turn. I remember the Riri attack. I remember her face afterwards. And I have to say, I would not pay $1,000 to take a picture with Chris Brown. But you are right. Now, I do believe that Chris Brown, you know, he has to do his time and figure out how to redeem himself. But you are right. That's true. I think that the white dude's case was thrown out, or maybe I was having a nightmare. I don't know. Diddy will be tried for other crimes that he did. He's going to pay. Watch and see. Okay. So there's a lot of people who's saying that there's more coming down the pike for P. Diddy. That man wants to go home to his family. He is not thinking about anybody else or her. Let him be, is what Lindsey Jones is saying. Erica said his celebrity friends probably got some things coming their way. Not one showed up in court to support him. Kanye West did. I'm curious to know who will be the first to call him. Nobody. I think they're all shaking in their boots. I think Kanye came on down there to let him know. Kanye spent what, maybe 10 minutes in the courtroom, just wanted to show him his face and let him know that he was there. But everybody else, nothing. Okay. Rick Ross's ex-wife, she said, y'all need to get y'all motherfucking ass down to the courtroom. Rick Ross, get your ass down to the mother effing courtroom, okay? She started calling everybody out. Let's talk about, hold on. Let's talk about our girl, Young Miami, who did a post and delete. Check this out. She made this post where she had young Justin Bieber doing the It's Tea. This is following hearing that P. Diddy was innocent or not guilty. I gotta stop saying innocent. Not guilty. Not guilty is the correct way to say it. But it looks like she is happy, even though she was doing a whole lot to untie herself from this case and from P. Diddy, saying I didn't know anything about it. I'm tired of y'all blaming me for X, Y, and Z. She's actually in, I think she goes to Harvard University with myself. We're doing our online classes together, child. But she made the post and said, listen, this is tea. This is tea. He's free. Okay. Now, I told you guys earlier that the government will not be able to seize all of Diddy's assets, all of his assets, his bank accounts and things like that, unless they can prove a direct relationship to the transportation part. So apparently he does have a plane, and the plane right now is grounded in Maui. That's in Hawaii, in Maui. And they said that he surrendered his passport. These are the reasons they're asking for him to come home. He surrendered his passport. They want him to go to his home in Star Island. That's out in Florida. They said that he has no reason to run, that he has the lesser charge now, and he just wants to go home and be with his family. But the government could still seize his plane. They could take it from him because they could say that was a part of the crime, right? Let's see what else you guys are got to say. Let's hear from someone who was actually in the courtroom too. Okay, this is Lauren LaRosa. Lauren LaRosa. She's real good. I think she's on the Breakfast Club. But let's listen to a little bit of what she had to say coming out of the courtroom today. This was right after Diddy was found not guilty of the more harsher charges. Check this out.
Not surprised about at all. So he was found not guilty of the. This happened in court. I think a lot of us were not surprised about at all. So he was found not guilty of the racketeering charge. He was found not guilty of the trafficking. What he was found guilty of was the prostitution stuff, which after yesterday, right? And mind y'all, you talking about that racketeering charge, right? He would have been in jail for the rest of his life if he had been convicted of that.
She's not lying. That was a mandatory charge. Racketeering served life in prison. Life in prison.
Now, yesterday when they were trying to figure out how they were going to instruct the jury, and Diddy's team was arguing heavily, right? They're like, look, we just need to give this jury more time. We don't want them to be pressured. We don't want to be involved too much. Like, we just want to give them more time. The reason why Diddy's team was so against the Allen charge, and the Allen charge is basically something where a judge is able to say to the jury, like, look, if we have to retry this again, there's going to be no jury that is smarter than you. Basically, like, we're going to have to do this all again, and they're going to get the same evidence. So
I'm so sorry. I see some of you are saying that I'm going in and out. Are you guys able to hear okay? The plane is in Maui. Yep, the plane is in Maui. Okay, keep talking to me. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I'm going to keep playing the audio.
So we need y'all to figure this out. Diddy's team was so adamant yesterday that they did not, y'all, it's getting crazy outside of court because everybody's coming out. Diddy's team was adamant yesterday that they did not want that to happen because I think yesterday they knew we have a really good shot. If they've come to this decision as quickly as they have based on everything they've seen, and the one issue that they're having is the RICO charge that Diddy's team has been arguing all along was the main thing the government did not prove well. I think they had that feeling, but still, he was nervous as hell yesterday. Today, when they decided and they announced what he was acquitted on, when I tell y'all he was so thankful, he's looking at the jury in their face. He's thanking them. It's like you can't hear him, but he's audibly thanking them. He's prayer hands. He's everything. Now they're arguing about whether Diddy is going to walk out of the courtroom today. They're waiting right now. And the judge said by 1 o'clock he wants both sides to submit letters. Now here's what his attorneys are asking, right? So his attorney, Mark Agnifilio, stands up and he's like, listen, he's only charged with the prostitution, right? And because he's only been charged with the prostitution, I'm not saying that this isn't serious, right? Like transportation to engage in prostitution. I'm not saying that this is not serious on a federal level and that federal charges aren't serious. But what I'm saying is that this is far less than what he was actually accused of altogether, right? He should be able to go home. If you look back in the jury, if you look back in the audience right now, his family is here. There's so much of his family members here. Any one of them, any two of them, any five of them right now could put up a bond for his release, for him to be able to go home right now. Mark Agnifilio said, look, we already took possession of his passport. We have physical possession of his passport right now. We found out last night, just in preparation for if this happened, right? We found out last night that his jet, his plane that he owns, right, is in Maui. It's been chartered. He does not have access to his plane. They asked, can he go and stay in his, at his house in Miami, in Star Island, and just be under different conditions? Basically, like, we will watch him. The court can watch him. The court can tell us what to do, but he should be able to go home right now. And not only did they put the pressure on, he should be able to go home right now. His attorneys also said, and we need to decide it today while his family and everyone who has taken their time to be here are in court.
So they wanted him to go home today. They actually told the judge they will give $1 million bond. Y'all have everything to ensure that this man will stay in the country. He's not a flight risk. He wants to go home with his children. He's been in prison since 2023. For some reason, I feel like I read 2023. and they're asking, let him out. He has been found not guilty. Now, like I said, people are divided. There are people that are furious with this, with the court case. Jury of 12, 8 men, 4 women. But 9 months is what Dorothy is saying. Okay, so he's been in prison for 9 months waiting, and they said keep him in there. Keep him in there until there is a sentence. And they are hoping that the sentence is more jail time, and that the jail time or the sentence will be steep. He can get a minimum, or excuse me, a maximum of 10 years for both. But he's already been in there for 9 months, according to, and some of you are saying 10 months. He's already been in there for 9 or 10 months. And there's a lot of people saying that the judge could very well say he served his time. He served his time. There's no reason for me to keep him in, because the more serious charges were not guilties. So leaving that particular charge on, the transportation charge, is a problem. And from what I'm understanding, the prosecution was pissed. Okay? The prosecution was pissed, and they're arguing, we already saw what this man did prior. When he was in jail, when he had gotten arrested, he was still doing the freak offs right up until the day we arrested him. He had, paraphernalia and narcotics everywhere. He was threatening witnesses from inside jail. He should stay in. That is what the prosecution teams are saying as well. So let's finish listening to this.
Today, right now, they asked for the bond to be $1 million. And again, they, y'all, it's getting crazy out here. So many people outside. I'm gonna show you guys outside. They asked for it to be done today because they kept reiterating, anybody here right now in his family can put up that bond. This needs to be done today. So the judge said, listen, let me see what the government has to say. And based on what the government has to say, we can kind of go from there. Like, let me see how they're feeling. So the government, they stand up and they're pissed. They're like, no, he should not go home because, number one, we've heard about instances where he's committed crimes and been violent to people involved in this case, even after he was under very public scrutiny, right? So he's like, for instance, with Jane testified that they got into this physical altercation, right? That happened once everything had been announced, once his house had been raided, houses had been raided. They literally said he has no regard for the government. He does what he wants to do. We've heard about all of the drugs. They even talked about the day of his actual arrest in New York. The government said, listen, did y'all forget that the day he was arrested in New York, he had tons of drugs in his hotel room?
So yeah, just repeating, she's saying what I had told you guys already. He was using inmate's phone exactly 100%. So there's a lot of people who feel this way. I'm just saying, they are saying that another letter has come in, this time from Cassie's stylist. His name is Deontay Nash. He also sent a letter to the judge. So it sounds like the lawyers, the prosecution teams have probably reached out to all victims and anyone who had an association with Diddy. And basically they are asking that they flood the judge with letters urging him to deny bail. Okay, that's what it sounds like to me. But this letter is coming from a gentleman by the name of Deontay Nash, who is Cassie's stylist. And he says, I am writing to express my grave concern over the prospect of Sean Combs being released from custody. While I appreciate the fairness you have shown throughout the proceeding, I feel compelled to be unequivocal about the danger he possesses to the public and to the individuals who have risked everything by coming forward. So he's saying that he is a risk to those who came forward, the victims that came forward. Mr. Combs has a long, well-documented history of violence, coercion, retaliatory behavior. Over the years, he has repeatedly escaped meaningfully accountable. And this is poorly written. I'm so sorry. I can read, y'all, but this is poorly written. And each time he has only reinforced his sense of impunity. He believes he is above the law. If he is released now, I have no doubt he will see it as another license to continue intimidating, threatening, and harming people who challenge to expose him. Many of us have firsthand knowledge of this fear, the fear that he instills in those around him. I can say without hesitation that he is serious. He is a serious and immediate threat to his victims and witnesses and the broader community. His pattern of violence, particularly while engaged in the trafficking of individuals for prostitution, combined with unchecked substance abuse, makes it clear that he is not ready to re-enter society or safely or responsibly. So he's saying he's not ready to leave him in there. Let him cook. He also says to release Mr. Combs without substantial consequence would undermine the integrity of this process and send a dangerous message that wealth and influence can shield someone indefinitely from accountability. It will also endanger those who have cooperated with this investigation under subpoena, who are already living in fear and retaliation. I urge you in the strongest possible terms to prioritize the safety of the victims and the witnesses over any consideration of leniency. Mr. Combs has countless opportunities to change. He had countless opportunities to change, and he has chosen instead to escalate his harmful conduct. Allowing him back into the community now would be a profound mistake. Thank you for your time and your commitment to protecting the public from those who repeatedly demonstrate that they are unwilling to respect the law. Oh, wow. I wish that we were as quick to write letters like this when it comes to having a 34 count felon and someone who's been accused of rape at least twice and once with a minor child. I wish that we all felt that way about that person before allowing him into the White House. But damn, okay. Hey, welcome everybody. Thank y'all for coming through. I appreciate y'all. Please hit the like button and share the video. I know that there's a lot of differing opinions in the chat right now. There are some people who say he deserves to be with his family. He's been found innocent, period. He should be allowed to be with his family, or not guilty of the more serious charges that he was being charged with. But there's also some people saying, he should stay there. He should stay there. He's not done yet. The jury didn't think he was a risk. However, it's a judge's choice now. I understand their concerns. Well, the jury wasn't even, I don't think it was the jury's decision. Wait a minute. What's going on? Is someone being told to shut up? Hopefully not. Oh, Mildred, are you talking about what the letter I just read? It was Cassie's stylist, and she's asked, and the stylist is asking that the judge keep Diddy in jail until sentencing day. Okay, don't let him out. He should stay there until the day of sentencing. Now, listen, there's a lot of people that are also threats to the community. The guy from Abercrombie and Fitch, he is doing home arrest. He has an ankle bracelet on. He's at home right now waiting for trial. He's done a lot of the same things that Diddy was charged with. Not with threatening anyone, though, but he was charged with a lot of the same things. But the jury's job was to decide whether or not the prosecution proved their case. And they said, no, they didn't prove it, not guilty. In regards to a risk, that's up to the judge to decide. And that is why right now, everyone is flooding this man's office with letters. Let's see that part. Cassie's lawyers was like, call your friends. This happens all the time. This is the type of stuff that happens. So just know. And we should be this activated with everybody. with everybody. Sometimes we only focus on our community, but if y'all pay attention to what's going on around that community, you would see how that shit trickles in. Um, we got to be this. We got to be this activated with everybody. Burning up cars, breaking in houses, ordering people to empty buildings, to be threatened and questioned. What the hell? And how long did this go on? Was it over a decade? Cassie's hairstylist is a G. When you're that afraid of someone, you wouldn't even want his money. I wish I could help everybody think differently around this, but that type of trauma lasts a lifetime. You will never live a normal life, ever. Money is a light band-aid, but it's necessary. It's necessary for therapy. If I'm not mistaken, Cassie said that she is still a drug addict, right? It is necessary for rehabs. It's necessary for your children. Nothing about your life is okay. Money helps heal things. Money helps build new memories. Money's okay. Take the money. Take the money. We're quick to throw our own under the bus, but we'll vote for a felon. Make that make sense. Um, D, adult skater, is saying that he is a flight risk. He wants to be home for the 4th of July, child. Yes, I was replaying that money and status shields. Okay. We shall see what happens next, but this is what they're saying so far. This is what they're saying so far. We'll see. We should know very shortly. We should know soon whether or not he gets to walk or not. We should also know if the judge is going to feel pressured by the letters, if they're going to want to do what the public is asking. Be that way with everybody. Nothing changes. Nothing changes in our community if we're not like that with everyone. Things get worse for us when we're not like that with everyone. We have to recognize that. We got to recognize that. Otherwise, we will always get the worst end of the stick. Come on through, y'all. Come on in, hit the like button, share the video. I think that there were real victims. I think Diddy recognizes, even said, yes, I am guilty. I am guilty of abuse. I am guilty of, but he also said, I did some things and she did some things to me, like they were doing it together. But he had the power. He had the power. He had the money. He had the connections. He was able to do things to her that she couldn't do back to him. And we all know this. I don't think you have to, I don't think I'm being one-sided by saying that. Everybody knows this. The difference is that he actually said, I know I did those things. It doesn't meet the level of federal charges. Doesn't meet the level of federal charges. Could it have met the level of state charges? Easy. Easy. Get your money, okay? Money is how you eat. Money is how you put a roof over your head, clothes on your back, feed your family. If you went through a trauma like that, you are no good to anybody. You can't work. You can't nothing. Get your money. Hold on. Cassie was never about justice. If so, she would have gone to the authorities. She would have gone to the authorities from the jump. She wanted the money. She took it. Don't think Cassie is a poster child for DB. Cassie cannot press charges. She can go down and tell someone what happened to her. That does not mean that the police would have arrested him, and it doesn't mean that a prosecutor would have pressed charges. Just an FYI, she doesn't have that authority. She could have told on him, but considering, Stephen, all the people that have come out and said, both men and women who have said they, experienced some stuff at the hands of Diddy, and things would get, kind of swept under the rug. At 18 years old, you can go to war. Yes, you can. Thank you, Lady D Keys. Keep hitting the like button for me, please, and thank you. That's why I wonder what her husband was thinking, being in a relationship with her so soon. If I was her mom, I don't know. I don't know what that relationship is like. He wasn't on trial for DV. DV is not a federal offense. DV is not a federal offense. Okay, so Jen said, I was a victim and Cassie knew what she was doing. I had someone write a note on my wall today. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. This is a person who works for trafficking prevention. That's what she said, that she works for trafficking prevention. And this is what she had to say. I'm going to put it on my wall. Just a second. Okay. This person said, I was working for Human Trafficking Prevention Agency, so I was very interested in this case. On day three of the trial, I was not convinced that he had participated in ST, okay, actual trafficking. They knew if they didn't come up with more charges that they wouldn't stick. I'm surprised that the transportation stuck, because that is a direct charge that has to do with the ST charges. I agree. I think that judge is going to be like really struggling to keep him inside, y'all. She went on to say that the state failed. She means the feds, the government failed on the RICO charges because they moved way too soon. This case has set a precedent. Hopefully, Hollywood will be different, but the White House will remain the same, is what this person said. And she said she works with people for human trafficking prevention. Some people are saying that you thought she was groomed. 18 is not fully grown. The brain doesn't even develop fully until age 25. That's true, y'all. I was told when I turned 18, when I moved out the house, it was actually a mentor of mine. He said to me, you are a toddler in the world. Okay. Once you leave your mama's house, you are a toddler in the world, and you still got a whole lot of growing up to do. And he was right. I had moved away from home, moved to another state, and baby, when they tell you that God protects babies and fools, period. People think they're smart. They think they have all the answers. They think they know what the hell they got going on. They can fix everything. They can control everything. You cannot. There are people that prey on you, that know that you are green, wet behind the ears, nose running. They can smell you a mile away, and they will do all kinds of horrible shit to you. 18 is grown. They draft you to go to war. You're still a toddler. There's people, there's countries that that put kids in war younger than 18. And there's still toddlers in the world, in my opinion. You told your son that he's has 2 strikes against him. He's black and he's a man. I won't say you're grown, but I will say that you can go to prison. You could go to prison at age 13. I think I just read something about 2 13-year-olds went to prison. You can't drink. There's a lot of things that you can't do. And I won't even say that 18 is grown, because I've talked to some 18-year-old. I've talked to a lot of 18-year-olds. Where I am now and where those kids are, they're children. They're children. And I'm not even going to pretend that they're not children, not for anybody. I would never call them grown. I would say that I understand that society may put that label on you, but you still need a mentor. You still need family who can guide you, or someone that can guide you, because it is hard out there. They want you green and inexperienced. Facts. The reason why they put you in those situations is because you're green, you're inexperienced, and you're very moldable. Very moldable. And if you get with the wrong crew, it can F your entire life up. That's true. That's the reason why. It's much harder to draft someone who is a 25, 35, 45. You're going to draft someone when they're 18 and don't know shit, and have someone bark a bunch of stuff at you. Cassie was not green when she met Diddy. 3-year relationship with a man 10 years her senior. Do you really think that she was the same level as a man 10 years her senior who worked for a music company? Do you think so? Or do you think that maybe that grown-ass man is nasty and probably should leave kids alone? Anyway, this has been some interesting times, child. People feel differently, men feel differently, women feel differently. I can only speak for me and the people I know. I know who I was at 18. I know who I was at 18. I had a very strong mama. I remember one time I thought I was being cool, trying to date a police officer. He was in his 30 something, and I was just as green as I could be green. And I remember he came to my house, knocked on the door, and asked for me. My mama cussed his ass all the way back out to his police car. Child, no, you ain't. Okay. I know what the law says. I know that we think if we lay down, that makes us grown. We have no idea what the consequences of that shit is. It's years and years before our grown asses look back on stuff and say, wow, I was really lucky I made it through that. Or, dissect our own trauma. But it is what it is. It's a journey. We all got to figure it out at some point in our lives. That's exactly what being a toddler in the world means. It means you're still trying to figure it out. That's all. A toddler in the world just means you're trying to figure out how to be grown. But you're still young. You're still young. You have a lot of you don't know everything. You don't know everything. And when you start knowing everything, you're almost on your way out of here. Okay? If you're lucky enough to live long enough to get yourself to a place where you do know a little bit of something, you are on your way out. Okay? God is going to be calling you home soon. And that's just how it rolls. But y'all, let's see. She has $30 million, and that's a lot of damn money. And she can buy herself the therapy she needs. She can buy herself the counseling she needs for her mental. She can make sure her kids are okay. All the stuff. They still don't care about women and girls. They say that they're innocent. And listen, this applies to men too, to young boys who don't know any better. There's a lot of people that get taken advantage of. Right now, we are seeing a bunch of teachers and all kinds of nasty people who's, taking advantage of very young men. And you just gotta, just hope that you gave your children the foundation to come home to ask you questions if they still need to. You want them to figure things out, they're going to have to figure it out anyway. But they're going to fall down, they're going to bump their head, they're going to make wrong decisions. You just don't want it to be so bad that they don't survive it. That's it. My question is, if that hotel video had not been released, would we be here talking about this today? I don't know. Good question, Teresa. I can't say. She had been paid her money. He was walking around doing whatever he wanted to do. But the prosecutors, the feds had already got a hold of it. It doesn't matter if she's 18, 40, or 10. They're always going to blame the girls. Yeah. Well, we're not going to see a change in that type of thinking anytime soon, unfortunately. The letters are in. Okay, hold on. They're showing everybody leaving the courthouse, or the jurors leaving the courthouse right now.
Yeah. Way to go! Way to go!
All right. So the jurors got to leave the courthouse. They're done. Their work is done. Their service is done. They are back home for the holidays, child. Agree with you 100%. Take responsibility for your own choices that you make. Agree with you 100%. Don't release him. These people saying that 18 are grown. Like, are you kidding me? You basically just finished high school. Yeah. I'm amazed at how people think. Child, everybody thinks differently. Everybody thinks differently. I am so grateful. I am so grateful. Hey, Lulu. That when I left my mama's house and I thought I was grown, there were people who were like, you are never going to make me call your mama and tell you that something happened to you. Like, get your ass together. But you listen, you find out. That's true. There's people who believe that 13-year-old girls, you put lipstick on a 13-year-old girl, she fast and she deserved it. I don't think that way personally. I don't give two damns. If she 13, she 13. Okay. If she wearing lipstick, she 13 wearing lipstick. That's it. That does not give anybody the right to treat her like she is older than that. She's a child. And I don't care what she says or does. She's a child. Her mind is a child. Those Pisces mamas are different. Did I tell you that my mama was a Pisces? Because she was, child. But yes, I used to have people cuss me out and said, "Are you trying to get me cussed out?" Okay. Are you trying to get me cussed out by your mama? Under no circumstances. Um, in this case, they was adults. Yes, they were adults by every. Yes, the law says they were adults. Were they the type of adult who lived the same life or had the same understanding? No, no, not at all. Mildred says she's a Pisces mama, child. Whew. You guys are very overprotective, the Pisces mamas. You're not grown until you start paying your bills. And even then, you're going to have to borrow some money from somebody. Okay. We need to go back to having a village. Young people today need to do not need gentle parenting. Well, when everybody started moving away, because remember, you could go around the corner to your aunt's house and up the block to your uncle's house, and everybody was like right near each other. And then jobs started disappearing, and people had to move out of the state or move out of their cities for jobs. And it literally broke up the villages for people. It broke up the villages for people. Hey, Yolanda, welcome, welcome, welcome. I totally get it. There might be some people that get it very early in life, and God bless you. God bless you if you do. But most people don't. Most people don't. Most people, you got to crawl before you walk. You got to walk before you run. Most people they go through the steps. There are some of y'all that get it very early, and God bless you. You know what I'm saying? Good for you, child. Let me see. Do I have any other pictures for y'all? Hmm. You want to know how much time he can get. So he can get 10 years for each count. He was actually found guilty on 2 counts of transportation. One was for Cassie, one was for Jane Doe. He could do up to 10 years for each one individually, so a total of 20. And he could do no time at all, depending on what the judge decides. Dr. Francis who? Oh, Dr. Francis Welch said that a Black man can be a boy, a man, a baby, or a girl. That's why they don't see Black women as babies or girls. Always make us grown or motherly or aggressive. Yeah. There's this lady that I follow on TikTok. She's been doing like the history of the white church and how white supremacy was in the white church, and she's been talking about slavery, stuff like that, and how Black women were bred to either be sold for a man's pleasure. They would literally breed them for a man's pleasure, light-skinned girls and certain girls, versus other Black women that they would own. It's been real interesting to see how white people receive that information. But listen, we got to understand our history a little better. so that we can know why we actually think the way we think right now about ourselves. Because we carry a lot of that same horrible thinking. We don't believe we do, but we absolutely do. It controls every bit of us. But we're not on one accord when it comes to why we think the way we do, why we say the things that we say about each other. And it's unfortunate because everyone's like, why does everything go back to slavery? Because it does, because it was a way to protect ourselves when we were younger. It was a way to protect ourselves, our ancestors to protect themselves. And it's been passed down, and we haven't changed it. Right. It's ingrained in us. It is ingrained in us. But if you know better, you'll do better. But some of the thinking really does go back to then, really does go back to the days of. Everybody thinks differently until you are in Cassie and many other women's situations. Until you walk in my situation, you won't understand it. I choose to stay. I choose to stay to live and my family to live. Good for you. Come on through, you guys. Come on, come on. I'm trying to see if I can wait out this verdict because I know that it is coming. So I'm trying to see if I can wait it out just a little while longer. We'll give it a little while longer because he said 5 o'clock he would have an answer, and they have released the jury. They've given them their instructions. I said both men and women were abused. I definitely said that. Young boys are abused, young women are abused, and in different ways. In 11 minutes, you said they're going to release it in 11 minutes. Okay. I'm trying to pay attention to y'all, child. They're headed back into the courtroom right now for what may be Diddy's bond hearing. If the court is open to him receiving one, he may walk free. Until sentencing, we shall see. And they're saying that family has arrived for the bond hearing. The family has arrived for the bond hearing. Okay. So that's what they're going to do. I'm going to stay on until we get this bond hearing read. Okay. I want to see what's going to happen. Prosecutors are asking that he stays in jail until the day of his sentencing. The defense team, Diddy lawyers, they're asking that he be released, that he is given a bond. They said they'll pay $1 million, up to $1 million in bond money. They would like for him to be released to Miami, where he has a home on Star Island, one of the richest zip codes in the United States. That's where they would like for him to be released. They said that his plane is in Maui, which is in Hawaii. They said that they have his passport, that he is not a flight risk. He just simply wants to go home, be with his family, love on his family, have them love on him. He will not participate in any of the things that he has been accused of in court, including the freak-offs. They said he will even refrain from that. They have offered, they'll take his phones, his computers, anything that could give him access to contact the outside world. He just wants to do the rest of his time at home. That's what they are asking for. And a lot of people have written letters, including Cassie, Cassie's stylist, and probably some others. Okay. Is this one? Oh, there was a second letter written by Diddy's team to the prosecutors, and they said that he fired back, saying that he should be allowed bail based on what the jury's verdict is. They said that they are abusing the law by trying to keep him inside. Diddy's lawyers feel that the depiction of Diddy no longer should be considered, as he should not be considered dangerous based on what the jurors said. Okay? The defense team wrote, Mr. Combs should be released on bail today. For months, the government has repeatedly argued and announced to the world that Sean Combs was a monster who had perpetrated a 20-year, for 2 decades, a 20-year federal crime spree through a racketeering enterprise. It devoted enormous resources to this federal crime and to this prosecution. Then after almost a year in detention, he had almost been a year in detention, Sean Combs finally got his day in court, and the government's allegations were tested before a jury of his peers. The jury found him not guilty. And they said that the government's allegations were were false. The government's evidence, including testimony from his former girlfriends, did not meet the test. And by its verdict, the jury resoundingly rejected the government's depiction of Combs. The jury found him not guilty of racketeering, conspiracy, not guilty of trafficking. It convicted him only of 2 counts of prostitution, which we heard already, which were related to the transportation of adults, not to children. Adults whom the jury clearly found were consensual participants in the activity. These offenses are of a lesser charge and a less serious nature. It goes on to say that these type of offenses are no longer even prosecuted as a matter of policy. Did y'all hear that? The defense team is saying that these types of things are not even prosecuted anymore as a matter of policy in the Manhattan DA's office. So they don't even prosecute this type of crime anymore. Lord have mercy. What are they going to do? They said the same is true in Los Angeles and other local district attorney's offices. It would be unjust to continue to detain Mr. Combs at the MDC even one more day longer, especially since, given the sentencing guidelines for the 2 charges he was accused of, he would otherwise be entitled to serve at a lower security prison. So if they consented, let the man go home, is what Sanders said. So I didn't even know that. They said that this is not even a charge. The charges that he was found guilty on, and y'all can see them right there, for Cassie and Jane, transportation. They said this is not even a crime that the DA's office in Manhattan even prosecutes for anymore. Let's face it, the prosecution failed big time. If that's what it's coming back as, they failed big time. They said this is no longer prosecuted at the Manhattan DA's office or in Los Angeles and other local districts. So those are the 2 biggest on the East Coast and the West Coast. Lord have mercy, child. Come on, verdict. Where are you? What else y'all got to say out there, child? Zabak, the midget, said he's still guilty. He's still guilty. So there. Does not matter. He's still guilty, child. Okay. He most likely is going to do this again if they let him go. I think that the jurors failed. These people thought he did nothing wrong. You think so? Do y'all think, let's do a poll real quick. Do y'all think that maybe the charges were just not enough to meet racketeering? Okay, maybe the charge should have just went to the state court. If you agree that it should have stayed at the federal level, put a 1 in the chat. If y'all think that prosecutors just went, too hard, that they should have just sent it to state court, put a 3 in the chat. He probably would have been convicted at state level. 3 in the chat. They overcharged him. Okay. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all think that this was a federal offense. The man should have gone to prison for life. The feds did the right thing by putting it in federal court, or if they should have just backed the hell up and let the state court take it. A 3. Okay. Most of you are saying 3. Most of you are saying 3. You're saying that you don't believe that this was racketeering. You don't believe that he was using his business to do what the government was saying. In fact, all of y'all are saying 3. That it should have just stayed with the state courts. Okay. Natural Woman said 2. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Okay, we got 1. 1 said that he should be in prison for the rest of his life. Okay, but it's mostly 3s. It's mostly 3s. Mostly 3s. So y'all know that court artist, the one who's doing all the pictures and the drawings. He had did the drawing of Diddy on his knees praying a little earlier. Lord child. Aries said he's a freako, not a Rico. I mean, Trump, go off. Yeah, we as a people failed. We as a people failed when we let someone with 34 felonies make its way back to the White House. Okay. Hold on. Fat Joe will get off too, more than likely. Especially since his what's his name? Tyrone Blackburn is running people over in his car. Chances are he will get off. But yes, anyway, y'all. Let me see what else I have up here. I did have some pictures. Hold on. Let me see if I can find them. Oh, you said someone had on a t-shirt that said Freako, not Rico. Okay. These people are where's my pictures? Where's my pictures at? Hold on. They said that when his family was coming out of the courtroom today, that people were screaming and cheering. They were real happy to have him or to see like the mom, his mother and his children come out of the courtroom. Oh. I think that they must have taken it down. So embarrassing. So yeah, at the end of it, y'all, we don't know. I don't know. I don't know. This is interesting. So Teresa said that she thinks Cassie's a beautiful woman, that she hopes that her current husband does not mistreat her, because deep down, you don't think that he will ever truly respect her 100%. He heard her say that she still loves Diddy. Wasn't he like her trainer when she was with Diddy? So he kind of knew, I think, some of the things that she was going through. They didn't just meet. He was actually there. So he showed up in her life in the capacity of a savior. Andre, who are you talking to? What happened? What am I missing? Are y'all talking to each other in the chat? Um Right. So he actually, her husband was someone who was aware what was going on, even saved her from some of the incidents. He showed up in her life as a savior. He wanted to protect her. And so he knows some of the stuff that she's been going through. They've been together for a long time. I think for a long time anyway. He's helped her. I mean, they just had their third child, I believe, their third child together. He's helped her get into therapy. He's helped her get into drug rehab. Sometimes people, that's what they come into your life for. I think that he loves her. And I don't think that I think he knows that she has a lot going on in her head, but he tries. How does Cassie explain her behavior to her children? Well, they're still small at the moment. I don't think she says anything to them. When they get older, they'll read about it. When they get older, they'll read about it. It'll be, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you found out about your parents when you got older that you didn't know. It doesn't make them any less your mother or father. Hmm. All right, y'all. I was trying to hold out to see if this verdict was going to come, but it's taken a long time for some reason, child. Um, yeah, people find out stuff about their parents all the time. They did drugs, they robbed a bank, whatever it is. I don't know. But people, your mama is your mama, and your daddy is your daddy, and that's it. And that's fine. Um, yeah. All right, y'all. So I am going to hang it up because it might take a little longer than I thought, and we'll figure it out as we go. We'll come back, okay? Yeah. People love playing the judge and jury. We'll come back. Thank you, Yolanda. All right, y'all. So I am going to sign off. Hit the like button on your way out. Thank you to the moderators who came through. Okay. Share the video. Follow me on all my platforms. And we'll keep talking about this until it's done. All right. Ciao. Y'all are hilarious. Until next time.